Hello dear learners, I am Dr. Aasiya Mudasir. In the previous video, we discussed the nature of teacher education. Now, let's move forward to understand the scope of teacher education. Friends, do you think a teacher's job is limited to the classroom? What if I tell you a teacher's role actually begins outside the classroom? This topic, scope of teacher education, looks simple, but one small concept from this can decide your UGC NET result. Today, a teacher is not just a teacher, they are a mentor, counselor, technologist, innovator, and sometimes even a life coach who guides, counsels, uses technology, and shapes careers. But how did this role expand so much? Let's understand through the scope of teacher education. Dear learners, before we understand the scope of teacher education, let's first understand what the word scope actually means. When we say scope of teacher education, we are asking a very important question. The question is, in how many areas does teacher education prepare a teacher? Teaching in the classroom is only the visible part of the teacher's work, but teacher education prepares teachers for many responsibilities beyond the classroom. So let's get started with the dimensions in which teacher education works to prepare an effective teacher to improve education and contribute to society. And the first area is pre-service education. Imagine a young boy who dreams of becoming a teacher. He loves children and wants to help them learn. But before he joins the classroom of a school, he needs training. So this boy joins a B.Ed program where he learns about teaching methods, child psychology, and classroom management. He also practices teaching in a training school. This stage of preparation before becoming a teacher is called pre-service teacher education. Now, the next dimension of the scope of teacher education is in-service education. Let's take the example of that boy teacher. After completing his B.Ed degree, he becomes a school teacher. But learning does not stop there. His school organizes workshops on digital teaching and new educational policies. He attends these programs to improve his teaching. This continuous learning while working as a teacher is called as in-service education. Next dimension is the curriculum development. Let's take the example of that boy teacher. One day, the school where the boy teacher is teaching decides to update its syllabus. Teachers are asked to suggest new topics that are useful for students. So he recommends adding environmental awareness and life skills. Here, he is not just teaching the curriculum, but he is also helping to develop it. This shows the role of teachers in curriculum development. Now, another dimension is educational technology. Let's explain. A few years later, the school introduces smart boards and online learning platforms. At first, the boy teacher finds it difficult, but gradually, he learns how to use videos, presentations, and online quizzes to make learning interesting. Now, his class becomes more interactive. This is the role of educational technology in the teacher education. Moving towards another dimension, that is research and innovation. One day, the boy teacher notices that his students are not understanding a difficult topic. Instead of repeating the same lecture, he tries a new method, storytelling and activities. Suddenly, students begin to understand better. By trying new methods to improve teaching, he is doing research and innovation in education. Next dimension is guidance and counseling. Whenever his students face some academic problems, they come to him for help. For example, some students feel confused about choosing a career, other students are worried about family issues. He listens them patiently and guides them. Today we have a concept of mentor-mentee relation. That relationship between the teacher and the taught is all about guidance and counseling. In this way, a teacher also acts as a guide and a counselor. Next is inclusive education. Inclusive education means that all children learn together in the same classroom, regardless of their abilities, background, or learning needs. Teacher education prepares teachers to support every learner so that no child feels excluded. In his classroom, every student is different. Some learn fast, some slowly, and one student has a learning difficulty. Instead of ignoring anyone, he adapts his teaching to support every learner. This practice of teaching all types of learners together is called inclusive education. Imagine a classroom where one child has hearing impairment. वो सुन नहीं सकता है अच्छे से. The teacher makes sure that the student sits in the front row, speaks clearly, and also uses visual aids such as charts or presentations to support understanding. Another example, for example, some students are confident and active while others are shy or hesitant. A trained teacher makes sure that every student gets the opportunity to participate in discussion, activities, and group work. Next point is global perspective. Let's explain. As time passes, the boy teacher realizes that education is changing worldwide. Students need to understand global issues like technology, environment, and cultural diversity. So he introduces examples from around the world. This reflects the global perspective in teacher education. For example, while teaching about the environment, the boy teacher explains how different countries are trying to reduce plastic pollution and climate change. He tells students how some countries encourage people to use reusable bags and renewable energy. While discussing education, the boy teacher explains how some countries focus more on creativity, problem solving, and practical learning rather than only examinations. He also introduces stories, festivals, and traditions from different cultures so that students learn to respect cultural diversity. Respect the cultural diversity and develop global understanding. In this way, teacher education prepares teachers not only to teach local knowledge but also to help students understand and participate in the global community. Now, conclusion. Many people think that teacher education only prepares teachers to stand in the classroom and teach lessons. But that is only a very small part of teachers' role. In reality, teacher education prepares teachers to perform many roles such as mentors, guide, counselors, researchers, curriculum designers, and even a social leader. And through these vast roles, they build the nation. This is all about today's topic. Now let's move for UGC NET questions. Let's do the first question. Teaching students with diverse abilities in the same classroom reflects global education, inclusive education, moral education, vocational education. As we discussed earlier, teaching students with the diverse abilities in the same classroom reflects inclusive education. So the answer is B. Second question is the assertion and reason type question, in which the assertion A, it has a statement that teacher education prepares teachers for multiple roles beyond classroom teaching. And reason is teachers also act as mentors, counselors, and curriculum developers. And options are both A and R are true, and R explains A. Both A and R are true, but R does not explain A. Third option is A is true, but R is false. And fourth option is A is false, but R is true. So if we will see the assertion, teacher education prepares teachers for multiple roles beyond classroom teaching. This is the right. This is the statement is right. And the reason, teacher also acts as a mentor, counselor, and curriculum development. As we discussed earlier, it is also correct. It's also the statement is correct. And so far as the reason of the assertion is concerned, the reason it is the reason of this assertion. It explains it because the reason our teacher also acts as a mentors, counselors, and curriculum developers explains the assertion. Teacher education prepares teachers for multiple roles beyond classroom teaching. So the first option is correct. Both A and R are true and R explains A. Third question, inclusive education is an important part of the scope of teacher education. The reason is, inclusive education focuses on teaching students with diverse abilities together. And the options are, both A and R are true and R explains A. Both A and R are true but R does not explain A. A is true but R is false. So next option is A is false but R is true. So if we see the assertion that inclusive education is an important part of the scope of teacher education, yes, it is correct. The statement is correct. And the reason inclusive education focuses on teaching students with diverse abilities, it is also correct. And also because the diverse abilities, inclusive education is related to the diverse abilities, and this reason is correct. This reason explains the assertion part. So A option is correct. Both A and R are true and R explains A. This is all for today. Thank you.